Okay, Geeta Dhyanam. Om. O Bhagavad Gita, by which Arjuna was illumined by Lord Krishna himself, and which was contained 18 chapters of the Mahabharata, to sage Vyasa. O Divine Mother, destroyer of rebirth, who showers the nectar of oneness upon us, O Bhagavad Gita, my affectionate mother, on thee I meditate. All the Upanishads are the cows. The milker is the cowherd boy, Krishna. Arjuna is the calf. People of purified intellect are the drinkers. And the milk is the supreme nectar of the Gita. My salutations to the Lord, who is the source of supreme bliss, whose grace makes the mute eloquent, and the crippled cross mountains. Hari Om Tat Sat. You see, we all have a notion, an idea, and that's what we serve. So, in a way, it's self-worship. Because what we're doing in this way, and we haven't applied science, by the way, and we were talking last night about being scientific. The scientists understand that what we think the world is false. Truly. Because why? Because they're awake and aware and they're paying attention. We slumber. And when we slumber, we don't pay attention. We don't investigate. But the one who investigates finds out, it doesn't take that long, that this life is not what I thought it was. That this seeming life is a false life. That there's something deeper here. Something more real here. Yeah. And so, that's the necessity. And then when we slumber, we might learn something, but we don't really learn it because we don't live according to it. And we'll play out the same patterns over and over and over again. And so it's a very depressing, dull life in that way. We go from one person to another, one relationship to another, one place to another, one job to another, one. And of course, no one wants anything but happiness, and not finding it, and it's very disturbing. So there's no peace. And what we're engaging in together really is, as per the discussion last night, it really is a science. I mean, when you try something, now you have to try it well enough to really see, right? That's why I'm encouraging you with the drum. You have to try it well enough. And you can do both. There's no reason you can't do both. There's not something that's sticking in you that's not sticking in someone else that prevents you from doing both. Is there some reason?
It's just the mind.
Yeah, it's just their habits that you're dealing with, and everything's about that. So, and we have a habit of living apart from the truth in our imaginary world, our imaginary truths. And this is so for all of us. It's not that we're terrible, it's not that we're bad, but it is that it's very hard to recognize this, but that it's as if we're covered by ignorance. This is what it is, this avidya. Sometimes we say it's like, we remember the symbolism in the Abrahamic traditions. All the Abrahamic traditions have Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. So there's no disagreement on that. That story's in the Jewish tradition, it's in the Christian tradition, it's in the Muslim tradition. So, and that's supposed to be the start of all of this. And if we remember what happened? Adam was there, and then Eve came. And then what did they do?
Ate the apple and
They ate the apple. Yeah, we know the story. We know that the apple is the apple of the knowledge of good and evil, which means the pairs of opposites. Mm-hmm. And by the way, when you live in the knowledge of the pairs of opposites, then you live out of the absolute. Mm-hmm. Huh? So you've committed yourself to a relative life. Tall, short, up, down, north, south, east, west, hot, cold, right? Mm. And there's so much to keep us occupied here but that world is not the truth. The truth is underlying that world, and that's what's being discussed here. And the scientists know this. This is the point. If you take a scientific approach, if you really study and you work with the science and you work with your own and purify your own ability to comprehend. Purifying means to let go of your own deep-seated notions and ideas, to allow yourself to be open. Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is, even though he's a character, he's known as the greatest detective. And why is he the greatest detective? It's because the approach that he takes. Anyone remember when he was asked, how do you do it? He says?
He gets rid of the untruths. So
Yeah, do we remember? It's like that. He investigates, and anything that is not true, it's exactly what you said, Hara, he eliminates. And what is remaining is the truth, no matter how improbable. So we're all dealing in our psyche with probabilities. They're not truths, right? If they were true, everyone would agree on them. They'd be established. They would be laws. But obviously it's not. There are Republicans and Democrats. And they say things that are opposite of each other. Which one is right? And which one is wrong? Huh? Everything here is juxtaposed, yes? So there are the two poles and then everything in between. So who's right and who's wrong? And we argue about it all the time, but it's obvious no one is right and no one is wrong. It's not about that. That's not the truth. That's just relative. So it's as if we've eaten something, that apple, and it was poison. And it was poison, and it turned everything around. So we forgot that we're spirit, having this human experience. We forgot that we're eternal. We forgot that we're children of God, right? That we're spirit, that we're that absolute. We've forgotten that we don't die. We've forgotten how important it is to be good and do good. We've forgotten that whatever we do comes back to us here in this plane. We forgot the basic laws, the universal laws. Why? Well, it's not so far off from what the Vedic tradition is saying, this concept of the apple, this avidya. So we ate of this tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which means, and it's not wisdom, it's the opposite of wisdom. It veils wisdom, it covers wisdom. Wisdom is the intuition. Right? Wisdom is the intuition. It's that universal voice within us that when we silence the mind, speaks. Yeah? So, okay. We're going to pick up with Swami Venkatesananda.
Swami Satchidananda compares the apple is the fruit, so we're trying to enjoy the fruit.
Indeed.
That's how it started.
Indeed. We are continuing to try to enjoy the fruit. My goodness, that apple was tasty. And now that I've forgotten all about myself, all there is fruit. And I need me some fruit. I'm very hungry for happiness. I'm parched and I'm not finding it here. Okay, so we pick up here. And the last shlokas, the ones that we covered yesterday morning, this was the last. To those who worship me alone, thinking of no other, of those ever united, I secure that which is not already possessed and preserve that what they already possess. So this is our blessed are Yeah, here's what's coming. Blessed are they who hunger after God and his righteousness, for they shall have it. So we continue on from there. Even those devotees who, endowed with faith, worship other gods, worship me alone, O Arjuna, by the wrong method, imperfect method. It's saying who worship other gods, it's not the... Sorry. In the... having come up in the Christian tradition and still, and having many, many friends in the tradition, we're very much related with it. And there's a concept of, the Lord says in the Bible, and this is the Old Testament, "Thou shalt put no other gods before me." Right? It's actually saying the same thing. From an overall standpoint, from an absolute standpoint, there's just one truth. There's only one highest, and that one highest, and this is what's being shared with us and what we're learning, is that one highest is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. It's everywhere, in and out. It's all the time, and it is the power. All of the power here is actually the Lord's power, that the power which belongs to the Absolute. Everything here belongs to the Absolute. Nothing here is individual. Nothing here is separate. The life force, this energy, this is the power, isn't it? The Shakti? Where does it come from? There's just one Shakti. There's one energy. Propelling everything. The same energy moves every train. The same energy moves every car. The same energy is in the petroleum that we bring out of the ground. How did that energy get in the petroleum? And then it's burned in the car, and the car motors along. It's one energy. Regardless of the form that the energy is found in, it's one energy.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and where did this energy that in this engine right here that's burned, that's burning, as it were, the food that comes that provides more energy for this voice to come and for these hands to move and all of this, one energy. Where did it come from? So again, scientists know that it comes from some place. They don't understand where. But they also know that energy and matter are interchangeable, yes? That energy appears as matter, and then matter will appear as energy again, and it's understood that the energy is underlying. But it's understood that there's one truth. Even in science, it's understood that there's one truth. They call it singularity. We call it Brahman. Or the Father, or Allah, or the Buddha nature. But that is the life itself. That is the light itself. Right? he shines, all of this shines. We had covered the other day, the sun, the moon, all of this light. Where did they get their light? Do they have independent light? It's the same light. It's non-dual light. Where did the fire come from? It's non-dual fire. Same fire everywhere. Anywhere in the universe there's a fire, it's one fire. And who is the father, mother of the fire? Oh. So, one God, many names. That was the kirtan that Shivadas led this morning. One God, many names. And so there's a concept that in these different traditions, different religious traditions, that there must be different gods. You know, Allah and Christ or the Father must not be the same ones. That's the concept. And so then I'll defend my God over that other God. You know, my God, the Father, is better than your God, Allah. No, dear, they're the same. But when he talks about gods, we're now on the shop floorman. We're now on the supervisors. Because there are divine principles at work here. Divine principles such as the mind principle, which is very, very important. Where does thought come from? What's the principle behind thought? Clearly there's intelligence, wisdom, life behind thought, isn't there? Is it random? It seems like it. But if you put it all together, you'll see, no, all thought is one. The very fact that everyone's thinking something different, if you put it all back together, you say, there's every thought here. Yes? So there's a god of thought. She's called Saraswati. But who is she really?
God.
Yeah, really she's that absolute. Really she's that absolute. But a particularized aspect. So in the Greek tradition, there were all of these gods. But they all work for the one. They're not independent.
Forms are many, but the truth is one.
Yeah. But the gods that are being discussed here, and the gods that Christ discusses as well, are, in this age, money, power, fame. And in the Vedic tradition, they're called Lakshmi, and then other names. I don't know all the names for the corresponding deities. We know Saraswati, we know Lakshmi, we know Hanuman, etc., etc. These are said to be gods, but there's only one supreme. So these are the divine principles that we see at work here: breath, wind, fire. Vayu is the wind. Yeah. So, and those principles are at work in everyone and everything. We worship them. Okay. I share my example. I've shared this before. I worshipped money. I worshipped fame. I wanted to be very well known. Because why? Just because I wanted to be happy. I didn't know anything. Forgive me. I'm forgiven. Forgive me because I didn't know. But then I come to find out, I worship money because I would do anything for money, pretty much. I had a few limits, but not too many. Maybe it just wasn't enough money. Really, being completely honest here. So, then that means I'm worshiping money. Is it correct? Yeah. So, and then I come to find out, oh my God, that's a form of the Lord. I'm worshiping the Lord. Well, I'm done with this worshiping money thing because it's not working. I'll go right to the top. And I'll let the one at the top decide what's appropriate for me, because that's far better, because I clearly don't know anything. I'll just serve. I'll just serve. So in this way, we've come to worship the one, which is the manifold, which is the many, which is all of this, which is the father, mother of all of this, but also is the truth of all of this. So here, even those devotees who endowed with faith worship other gods, worship me alone, O Arjuna, by the wrong, imperfect method. I alone am the enjoyer and also the Lord of all sacrifices and worship, but they do not know me in essence, and hence they fall on the path or from the path. So they do not know me in essence, they do not know me in truth. In essence, they don't know that I am that from which the microphone is constructed and from which the harmonium is constructed, through my nature, through the outer nature. So we don't see it, her, him. We're not tuned to see because we're looking the wrong direction. You know, there's a story, and you may appreciate this story, Indian story, which I think most have probably heard. The seamstress, in her apartment in India, she's sewing, she has one needle, and she loses her needle. And a little while later, someone is walking through the neighborhood and they see her out in the street. And she's on her hands and knees and she's combing through the street looking for something. And the person asks her, "Can I help you? What are you looking for? I can help you to look." And she says, "I'm looking for my needle." And the passerby said, "Very good. Do you know where you dropped it? Where you lost it?" And she says, "Yes, inside." "Well, why are you looking out here?" "Because it's dark inside and I can't see." So such is our situation. We look in the wrong places. That was the discussion last night too. We're habituated to look for happiness, fullness, completion outside. And outside meaning the skin, the outer wrapping. Peace Pilgrim used to call it the clay shell. The clay shell. This is the clay shell, her way of saying. And she would say, "I am not this clay shell. I am that which animates it. I am timeless and immortal," she would say. And in radiant health. So I alone am the enjoyer and also the Lord of all sacrifices and worship, but they do not know me in essence, and hence they fall on the path, from the path. The worshippers of the gods go to them, to the ancestors go to the ancestor worshippers, to the deities who preside over the elements go their worshippers, but my devotee comes to me. So sharing, be very careful about what you worship. Be careful of the mark that you set, because your worship will be successful. I worshipped money. I got money. It was never enough. So there's not an ultimate success to any of the limited endeavors. Success meaning satisfaction. Right? So be careful what you worship. Take care with what you worship. When you come to know that there is that highest here, everywhere, underlying, and it's my own reality, my own life, and the life of everything here, and it's the source of all of this. When this is really dawning, then there's an opportunity for a switch which says, then I don't want this limited life anymore. It doesn't mean even that you have to do something different, but it means the motive is going to have to change. And the intention is going to have to change, right? And then you're going to have to integrate it. But all of that is possible, and all of that is science. Yeah? People have absolute conversions and continue on in the same job. A lawyer might change the way they engage in law. They put the Lord first instead of their own pocketbook. But how would you really know? You know on the inside. You know on the inside, not on the outside. So the worshippers of the gods go to them, to the ancestors go to the ancestor worshippers. And there are those of us, who worship the ancestors and live for the ancestors. And frankly, in the Middle East, we'll see much of that. The coming back to avenge the ancestors and all of this. So, to the deities, those who preside over those who preside over the elements, go to their worshippers. But my devotees, he's speaking as the absolute. Remember, those who worship the absolute, the highest, and really do so in everything and everyone, then they come to me. And then we'll close with this one. This is one of the beautiful, very famous shlokas that often gets quoted. Whoever offers me with devotion and a pure mind, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a little water, I accept. And we'll discuss that a little bit more tomorrow morning. Here, we can read commentary. We have a few minutes, we're good. One more time. Whoever offers me with devotion and a pure mind, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a little water, I accept. Whatever thou doest, whatever thou eatest, whatever thou offerest in sacrifice, whatever thou givest, whatever thou practicest in austerity, O Arjuna, do it as an offering to me. This is the opportunity that we have. It's really not about doing something different. You might do something different, but it's about reorienting and setting the highest motive. Why do I do? Why do I do? Who do I do it for? This changes the life, the world completely. And in time, there's no more little me.
I can't sing and drum and sing.
Oh?
That's why.
Sorry, dear?
That's why I can't sing and drum and sing.
Yeah. But it'll come, you keep practicing. And practice means sadhana. It doesn't just mean practice on the drum. I mean, look at it. Most of us, when we come, we can't sing. In other words, we don't really have a natural voice. Our natural voice has been hidden and covered up. And somehow through sadhana, and we keep practicing, the voices open up and they become the natural voice. So everything changes with this. Whatever thou doest, whatever thou eatest, whatever thou offerest in sacrifice, whatever thou givest, whatever thou practicest as austerity, O Arjuna, do it as an offering unto me. This is commentary from Swamiji. Whatever may be our approach to the Supreme Being, in accordance with our inner equipment, predisposition, temperament, and taste, we ought to make it a point to feel that in and through the chosen symbol, we are contacting the Supreme Being himself, as he is the indwelling presence. It is not so much what we do that matters, but with what feeling, the bhava, that we do it. Just as almost any appealing and God-reminding symbol can be chosen to represent the Supreme Being, almost anything may be used to represent the inner spirit with which we approach him. A leaf, a flower, it does not matter what, for it is but a symbol that stands for the spirit of worshipfulness and total surrender which fills our heart. Minus this spirit, the offering is of little value. Minus the recognition of the presence of the Supreme Being in the object. As we have seen, the worship is imperfect and will not liberate us. When these two conditions have been ensured, it only remains for us to treat our whole life as worship of God and to offer all of our actions as flowers of our worship of him. Verse 26 may be taken to refer to ritualistic idol worship and also to charity. To the God who dwells in all, we may offer in charity anything, however little it is, with love. This attitude encourages charity. Some people feel that unless they give in a big way, they should not think of giving at all, and that's a great loss. So give what you can, but give with love, feeling that you are worshiping the indwelling presence thereby. These two verses are life-transforming. Our master used to recite verse 26, and that's, whoever offers me with devotion and a pure mind, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a little water I accept. So he says, our master, Swami Shivananda, used to recite verse 26 whenever he gave anything to anybody, thus revealing his attitude, worship of the indwelling God. Okay. Oh, my dear Lord, please reveal yourself to each of us in our own ways. Let us come to see you everywhere. Let us come to know you as the reality, is the immanent. Let us come to know that it's you that we desire, union with you alone, not something else. Jai God. Okay, let's close with final prayers and arati. Page 174. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukameva Bandhanan Mritor Mukshiyamamritat Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukameva Bandhanan Mritor Mukshiyamamritat Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukameva Bandhanan Mritor Mukshiyamamritat Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Shantu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Makashi Dukhabha Bhave Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mritor Maham Mritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudashate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art Satchidananda. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptation and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, anger, greed, hatred, and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember thee. Let us ever sing thy glories. Let thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in thee forever and ever. On below Satguru Chitmananda Maharaj Ki, and for all of the saints and sages of all the traditions. Okay, that's right,